Holly Rowe of ESPN was recently at an Ohio State football practice, and in a video that she posted on Twitter, was ranting and raving about some things that she witnessed with her own eyes. And that got me thinking, what are some things the Buckeyes must do in 2022 to be successful? I got 3 of them. We'll discuss them today on Locked on Buckeyes.
You are Locked on Buckeyes, your daily podcast on the Ohio State Buckeyes. Part of the Locked on Podcast Network, your team every day.
What is up, Buckeye fans? Welcome back to another episode of Locked on Buckeyes for the Locked on Podcast Network. I'm your host, Jay Stevens, also the host of the Jay Stevens Podcast. It is Thursday, August 25th in the year 2022, and I'd like to thank LinkedIn Jobs for being the official college football recruiting sponsor across the Locked on College Network. LinkedIn Jobs helps you find the candidates you want to talk to faster. Post your job for free at linkedin.com/LockedOnCollege. Terms and conditions apply. I would also like to thank you for making Locked on Buckeyes your first listen or first watch of every single day. On today's episode, we will look at some stat predictions, some over-under numbers that were given to us via our friends at BetOnline.ag, and I will give my predictions for the season, the team, Ohio State, in 2022. But before we get to any of that, Holly Rowe's video that she posted on the Twitter after she watched the Buckeyes practice, it was her first practice of the season. She was wowed. She was amazed. She praised the defensive line. She praised the young players. And I am sitting here thinking, after watching that video, she also said she thought the Buckeyes were going to win it all. But after watching that video, I thought to myself, I love what she's saying, but what is it going to take for the Buckeyes to be successful, to win the Natty in 2022? I got 3 things here. The list is really long. We only got 3 of them for today. Number 1, the Buckeyes must, and I put this number 1 on purpose because it's the most important thing. The Buckeyes must win the battle in the trenches on both sides of the ball. You remember the Oregon game. You remember the game against the team up north. You remember the Nebraska game. You remember the first half of the Rose Bowl. You remember the Minnesota game. You remember the Tulsa game. You remember a lot of the games this past season where Tulsa, Oregon, Minnesota, Nebraska, Rose Bowl, Utah, Michigan. That's 6 games. And now Buckeyes only played 13. Almost half of the games you remembered where there were struggles in the trenches on one side of the ball or the other. And that makes me think immediately, you must win the battle in the trenches. Now, this is not just something coming off of the heels of last season. This goes for any team, but especially for the Buckeyes right now. Think about this. You might have no seniors starting on the defensive line. I mean, literally, game 1, you could have guys that don't have many games, only have a few games in mop-up duty or backup roles. Nobody starting could literally be a senior or could be experienced. And so out the gate, you're going up against a team in Notre Dame who has a strong O-line, normally has one of the stronger offensive lines in the country. You're also going up against a team in Notre Dame who's going to have a strong D-line as well. So the Buckeyes are out the gate. They have to win the battle in the trenches. But if you want to beat a Wisconsin, an Iowa, a Michigan, a Penn State, a Michigan State, if you want to get to the playoff, win the conference championship game, you must win the battle in the trenches. I don't want to come on here after games and discuss, well, DeJuan Jones didn't do his job, or Paris Johnson Jr. doesn't look like he belongs at left tackle, or Luke Whipper let us down. I don't want to do that. Or on the other side of the ball either. Win the battle in the trenches on both sides of the ball. That needs to happen for the Buckeyes to be successful. Also, the Buckeyes need to consistently get pressure with 4. Now, you are smart. Buckeye fans are really intelligent. That's why I like them. And you have heard players like Ronnie Hickman and Tanner McAllister and Josh Proctor, these players talking and people on the offensive side saying, man, the defense is flying around the ball. Man, this secondary, man, they're giving C.J. Stroud some trouble. Man, Stroud looks good, But Stroud is out here doing some things, man, that make Stroud look amazing, but he's having to overcome a really good defense. All that's great. Tommy Eichenberg, Still Chambers, they're doing phenomenal jobs of moving themselves up and really solidifying themselves as the top 2 linebackers at Ohio State. That's great. But you need to get pressure with 4. And I don't care if you have a rushman package where it's 4 defensive ends, or if you bring in a heavier set, you have a traditional set with 2 D tackles, 2 D ends. Don't matter. Get pressure. I say the 4. Get pressure with the front 4. Get pressure with those guys and see how easy it is for the defense to confuse the opposing offense, opposing quarterback, opposing offensive coordinator, opposing QB coach, opposing receivers coach, and just to see how crazy the offense gets confused with what's going on with the Buckeyes. Get pressure consistently with 4, the front 4, the 4 guys up front, and see how the defense, which I think will be better, will be aggressive. See how much better they can be with guys up front doing their job and not needing a blitz or 2 to get pressure to the quarterback. And then ultimately, it's just something that I talked about last year on the show, and Ryan Day did as well in post-game pressers and even in the middle of the week on radio shows and press conferences as well. Have a balanced attack. Now, I know the goal at Ohio State, I think it is an achievable goal, 250 on the ground, 250 through the air. You may say, Jay, okay, Ohio State has 2 running backs, Trevion Henderson and Mayan Williams, 2 really talented guys. Evan Pryor just went down out for the season. And so you still think that will it be 3 running backs, 2 running backs? I think it will primarily be 2 backs. Dallin Hayden is number 3 in the depth chart in the running back room, but I still don't think he's going to be a player that is going to get a lot of clock, a lot of plays. I think you're going to get 20 to 25 touches combined between Henderson and Mayan Williams, and that's going to really aid the rushing attack to get that 250. There's also a quarterback who can help with that as well. CJ Stroud. Run the ball, buddy. You got legs. You're born with them. Utilize them on the football field and see how easy it is for you and the Buckeye offense to move the ball down the field. Win the battle in the trenches on both sides of the ball. Consistently get pressure with the front 4 and have a balanced offensive attack. Last year, it was pass heavy, almost an air raid style of attack. Maybe Ryan Day realized there were times that certain defenses posed a threat to the Buckeyes, and they could not run the ball like they want to. 250 to the ground, 250 in the air. A balanced offensive attack, and the Buckeyes will have success. All 3 of those things, if those things happen, the Buckeyes will be successful and accomplish numerous goals in 2022. Coming up next, our good friends at BetOnline have some over-under numbers, some stat predictions. I'm going to go through them, give you my answer, over, under. You can even bet on these as well. It's going to be a fun day, a Thursday show right here. This is Locked on Buckeyes. As you gear up for fall, you need the right people on your team to help your small business fire on all cylinders. LinkedIn Jobs is here to make it easier to find the people you want to talk to faster and for free. Create a free job post in minutes on LinkedIn Jobs to reach your network and beyond to the world's largest professional network of over 810 million people. Then add your job in the purple hashtag hiring frame to your LinkedIn profile to spread the word that you're hiring so your network can help you find the right people to hire. Simple tools like screening questions make it easy to focus on candidates with just the right skills and experience so you can quickly prioritize who you'd like to interview and hire. It's why small businesses rate LinkedIn Jobs number 1 in delivering quality hires versus leading competitors. LinkedIn Jobs helps you find the candidates you want to talk to faster. Did you know every week nearly 40 million job seekers visit LinkedIn? Post your job for free at linkedin.com/LockedOnCollege. That's linkedin.com/LockedOnCollege to post your job for free. Terms and conditions apply. Thanks again for making Locked on Buckeyes your first listen every day. The ultimate college football preview is here. A 7-episode preview with college experts, local team experts, and Odyssey football insiders. It's everything you need to be ready for the college football season in one spot. Search for Ultimate College Football Preview on your Odyssey app, YouTube, or wherever you get your fine podcast. The Ultimate College Football Preview is fun. I was actually able to be a part of a couple episodes, one of them being the episode about Heisman hopefuls. I was on a panel, I want to say 6 people, 5 or 6 people that were there on that panel. And then also 3 of the 3 people that were a part of the Locked On Big Ten family. Myself, host of Locked On Buckeyes, Isaiah Hole, host of Locked On Wolverines, and then also Nate Dickinson, host of Locked On Big Ten. We joined Zach Blackard before a quick roundtable, about 10 to 15 minutes, talking about Big Ten Conference, the contenders, and you want to check that one out as well. Prediction season, baby. We love this time of year. We've been talking about predictions on other shows, have been people with articles, stat predictions. And I could have done the traditional, Marvin Harrison Jr., this many touchdowns. JSN, this many touchdowns. Trevion Henderson, he's going to have X amount of rushing yards. That could have been doable. That is doable. That would have been more traditional. Well, how about we look at our good friends at BetOnline.ag and get a little bit more specific in regards to 3 players on offense, what BetOnline.ag said you can bet on, and what I suggest, which way I am leaning for each category. CJ Stroud, Jackson Smith-Njigba, Trevion Henderson, in that order, the numbers that BetOnline.ag gave us, and if I'm going over or under said number. First one is for yards for CJ Stroud. Over, under 4,500 yards for CJ Stroud in 2022. I'm going over, and honestly, that one's easy. That one is maybe a little bit easier than I expected. Now, I don't think he's going to have the same amount of yards that Haskins had in 2018. I don't think he's going to be he's a better passer than what's his face? JT Barrett, a better passer than Braxton Miller. He's really good. He's similar in ways to Justin Fields, but I'm going under. And it's for a couple reasons. Marvin Harrison Jr. is electric. Emeka Egbuka is electric. We got a report of Julian Fleming over the weekend, popped his shoulder out of socket, popped it back in himself, and then scored 2 touchdowns after that in the scrimmage. So this receiver group should be elite. Now, there's not a lot of experience like it was last year with Olave and Garrett Wilson on the outsides controlling things, but that does not mean this group is not talented and this group will not do big things. Over under 4,500 passing yards for Stroud. Your boy is going over. Over under 35.5 touchdowns for Stroud. Another number given to us via our friends at BetOnline. I'm going over once again. Now, this one is also going to be coupled with, I would not be shocked if the Buckeyes have 3 receivers that have 10 passing touchdowns. That's 30 right there. So can I get 5.5 more touchdowns from Trevion Henderson, Mayan Williams, Joe Royer, Cade Stover, G. Scott Jr., Mitch Rossi? Absolutely. Like, if I break it down that way, if I say JSN, Marvin Harrison Jr., and Emeka Egbuka all have 10 touchdowns, well, Julian Fleming is going to get some clock. Well, he's going to get some of his own. Cade Stover is going to get some. He's going to get some of his own. Joe Royer is going to get some. Like, once you break it down so easily, I know the numbers are to entice you to bet, and if I was a betting man, which I am not, I would gladly hop all over this. 35.5 passing touchdowns for Stroud in this season, buddy, sign me up. Once again, there's a 13th game possible in the Big Ten Championship, possibly 2 more that are going to be in the playoff. 15 games, 35.5 touchdowns. Yeah, he's that good, which is why he's in the Heisman conversation right now. 5.5 touchdowns over under for Stroud in 2022. My gut's saying under, and that's scary. Because 5.5 touchdowns is right in that number that if I was a betting man, I wouldn't want to touch this. I would touch the previous 2. I don't want to touch 5.5 INTs for Stroud in 2022 if I'm trying to put some money right there on that thing. I just wouldn't want to. So since we're on the show, we get acquainted with each other multiple times a week. I'm going to go over. I'm going to go with 6. Now going 7. Now going 8, now going 9, I'm going 6. Excuse me. I'm changing my mind. Yeah. I'm going to do it. I'm going 6. Nope. Changing my, I'm going to stick with my gut. Go with 6 INTs. 40 touchdowns, 6 interceptions. Does that win the Heisman? Remember now, this is a 15-game season. So when you're putting the numbers out there, the Heisman is going to be voted upon prior to, and the person going to receive the award prior to the conference championship games being played, or excuse me, might be right after, but you have the playoff games that are still going to be there. So I would not be shocked if he throws one INT in both playoff games, but he finishes the regular season with 4. I think that's doable. So I'm going over. I got 6 INTs for Stroud in this year. Got to move quickly because your boy's been talking a lot. Receiving yards for Jackson Smith-Njigba. No, excuse me. Receptions for JSN in 2022. Over under is set at 89.5. I'm going under. Last year he had 96. I have a few reasons why I'm going under. Jackson Smith-Njigba, I believe, had 15 catches in 2 games last year. Outside of that, I believe the most he had in any other game was 7, which is still a lot. But those 2 games that he had, Garrett Wilson was not playing. Also in the Rose Bowl, what's his face? Chris Olave. I don't know why his name was not in my mind. Chris Olave was not there. So you had Marvin Harrison Jr., you had Emeka Egbuka, who were on the field playing. But Jackson Smith-Njigba, everybody knew he was the elite guy in the Rose Bowl. He was the number 1 target, and they just couldn't stop him. Of course, he put a running back out there to guard him. What would Shaq say? Barbecue chicken? I mean, it's over, baby. It's just absolutely over. But I'm going under. I think the receivers that are out there, the ball will be spread out a lot over this year. I think the backs will get more involved in the passing game. I think you'll get Cade Stover to get more involved in the passing game than we are used to seeing a tight end at Ohio State. So I'm going under. It's not a bad thing. I think we'll get 80 to 85 catches. That's a lot coming out of my mouth. That is a lot of catches for him, but it's doable. I just think 89.5 is a lot of receptions for a team that has as much talent as Ohio State has at receiver, tight end, and running back in the passing game. Over under 1,200.5 receiving yards for JSN in 2022. Once again, I'm going under. For everything I just said, I'm going under once again. Now, if the Buckeyes end up playing 2 playoff games, that's going to be a little bit different. It's going to be really, really close. I still think it's going to be 1,200. I'm going under once again. Receiving touchdowns, 10.5. He had 16 last year. I'm going over, man. I'm thinking he's going to have 12 or 13 tutties in 2022. The receiving yards, once again, these numbers are enticing you to bet. I wouldn't be shocked if somebody said, 1,200.5 for JSN. I'm going over. Craig, go right ahead. I think the ball's going to be spread out quite a bit this year. Quickly, Travion Henderson, rushing yards in 2022, over under 1,100.5. That's easy. Give me that. Go over. But he had 1,200 something last year. I think the O-line's going to be better. He's going to be better. 1,100.5 for Henderson rushing yards in this upcoming year. Baby, hey, I'm clapping. We making money here, y'all. Buckeye fans, we want to win. We want to be successful. We want to have all the money. Over 1,100.5 rushing yards for Travion Henderson. And then over under 13.5 rushing touchdowns for Henderson. 16. He had 15 plus last year. The number escapes me, but he broke the record that was set by Maurice Claret. Once again, I'm going with the over for that one. What say you? Do you think Jay's crazy? Do you agree with Jay? Let me know. Hop in the YouTube comment section. Have a back and forth with me, other people that are Buckeye fans, because I'm curious. What do you think about the numbers and the predictions that Jay just gave? One more segment. We're coming right back. I'm giving my team predictions for the Ohio State Buckeyes in 2022. One of them might surprise you. What is it? Stick around to find out. This is Locked on Buckeyes. We have another new sponsor to introduce to you. This one is Billiards Plus. Billiards Plus has the best selection of pool tables, game tables, shuffleboard tables, and more. And the best service in Central Ohio. Billiards Plus also can set you up with a brand new top-of-the-line grill that will last for generations. We all know how hard it is with the supply chain issues this year and getting certain things shipped on time. So when it comes to ordering that one big gift for Christmas, check out Billiards Plus and get there early this year. Pick something out and get it shipped in time for Christmas. It is a gift the whole family will enjoy year-round. Billiards Plus carries the best pool tables from Brunswick, Olhausen, Canada, Billiards, and more. Plus, top-of-the-line grills from PK, Napoleon, Memphis, and La Griddle that will be the last grill you own. Seriously, These grills stand the test of time. No matter the season, Billiards Plus has you covered for all your indoor and outdoor entertainment needs. Visit their showroom on Dublin Center Drive in Dublin. Check them out. Yes, check out Billiards Plus and check them out at billiards-plus.com. Once again, check them out at billiards-plus.com. Billiards Plus, family owned and operated for generations. You will not want to miss tomorrow's show, as we have spent a lot of time looking back over the past 20 years at Ohio State, the success that the players have had in trying to rank and draft who are some of the better ones. This is all about Ohio State celebrating their national championship winning season in 2002. And tomorrow's guest can't tell you just yet. Actually, I will. Paul Keels, the voice of the Buckeyes, joins us tomorrow. You will want to be there in your spot on YouTube or on your favorite podcast listening app. The show is free, and you will not want to miss Paul Keels being with us for the entirety of tomorrow's show. Prediction season, your boy's not done. These next predictions are all about the team. We got conference. Will they make the playoff? Will they make the net? Will they play in the national championship? I'm going to go one by one. I'm going to go in a little order. You're going to see said order here in a second, and you're going to kind of understand why I'm going with this first one first and then going in a sequence. Will the Buckeyes go undefeated in 2022? I don't think so. Now, I've been on the record, talked to Jeff Hunt about this from the Off the Ball Network, trying to see if he's able to come on the show next week, possibly on Friday, the last show before Labor Day weekend, and the last show before the Buckeyes start their season. I just think there's a 5-game stretch. The Buckeyes end up playing, I think it's Penn State, Iowa, there's Wisconsin in there, there's Michigan State in there, and there's Rutgers. I think one of those 5 games the Buckeyes end up losing. Now, it doesn't say that they're not going to win the conference, not going to win the make it to the playoff, all that jazz. I don't think we'll discuss that here in a second. But I think the 5-game stretch is going to do one, test the Buckeyes and show them different styles of football, but 2, bring 1 loss this year. I didn't think I was going to start on a negative note, but I want to get the one negative out of the way. Do I think the Buckeyes will beat the team up north in 2022 when the game goes back to Columbus for the first time, I believe, since 2019, since the Wolverines kind of backed out of the game in 2020? I think they do. I don't know. I don't think Ryan Day's going to put 100 on them. I don't think that's going to happen, but I do firmly think the Buckeyes are going to be a team that by the point in the season, the last game of the year, they're going to be so hungry. They're going to be so eager to get back on the field. They're going to have so much disdain for that Wolverine helmet and seeing that team back in Ohio Stadium on the turf that's being utilized and played on for the very first time, and they are going to beat them. I'm not saying it's going to be a blowout. I'm not doing that. I think Michigan is going to be a good football team, but I still think the Buckeyes beat the team up north. Will the Buckeyes win the conference now? Remember, I only see 1 loss, 11-1 regular season. I think that loss comes from a Big Ten West opponent. Kind of see where I'm going here. So I do think that the Buckeyes do make the Big Ten Conference Championship game in downtown Indianapolis. I will try to be there. And I do think the Buckeyes win the conference championship this year. Honestly, I think that 5-game stretch really gives them a proper test for those grueling games at the end of the year. 1 against Michigan, 1 against whoever they play in the conference championship. I think the Buckeyes will do that, and they win that game, they're making the playoffs. So the next question, a prediction, will the Buckeyes make the playoff in 2022? Yes, I think they will. I think there's a good chance the Buckeyes are our top 2 seed in the playoff, and I don't off the top of my head know where the playoff games are, but it doesn't matter. I still firmly think the Buckeyes will be a team that is playing in the playoff at the end of the year. Will they play in the national championship game? Yes. Will they win the national championship? Once again, yes. I said it on the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show on YouTube. Cool. Man, at the infancy stage of their show a few months ago, I said the Buckeyes, I predicted them to win the national championship. And actually, I said I predicted that C.J. Stroud would win the Heisman. I am not backing away from either one of those predictions. You also want to know something else? I said that months ago. I have a stronger belief in it now. There are some things I need to see for my belief in this team to be stronger, but I am still confident, comfortable in saying that the Buckeyes will make the national championship game. The Buckeyes will win the Natty. Oh, one more thing wasn't on my list. Let's go ahead and add it. Just said it a minute ago. I do believe that CJ Stroud will win the Heisman in 2022. Thank you so much for listening to and enjoying Locked on Buckeyes. You can follow me on Twitter at jstevens07. You can also send all of your emails to jstevens317 at gmail.com. We're out of here on this Thursday. One more show. Paul Keels will be with us tomorrow. You will not want to miss that. You can always check out Locked on Buckeyes. It's free and available wherever you get your fine podcast. And check out Locked on Big Ten. They're available at the same places. Its host, Nate Dickinson, takes you around the conference in under 30 minutes with a local expert every single day. Locked on Big Ten is a place to be, place to go, to stay up to date with the Big Ten Conference and to get news about Ohio State's next opponent that is inside said conference. I'm done talking for the day. Thank you so much. I'm glad you're back with us. Can't wait to hear your response about what Paul Keels has to say about the national championship winning season the Buckeyes had in 2002.